Okay, so yes, this week we're going to explore how to make our legs and pelvis light, how to move in uh, different directions and lead the movement with different parts of our body, and how to use our center. So it has a bit of a surprise ending, and I'm going to urge you when we get to that part, and you'll realize where it is, not to push it. Stay within your comfortable limits, even though you may feel like it, because you can always do it again if the penultimate movement is doesn't seem possible. But it's momentum. We're going to look at how we can use momentum. It's a curious thing, the idea of just allowing the weight of a segment of your body to be influenced by gravity and to fall, to allow it to relax completely, is such a beautiful thing. And we can use it when we're rolling on our back, and feel once edge how the weight of the legs can be leading, and then we go in the other direction, and the weight of the head is taking us. And the thing is, to make this easy, the idea is when the weight of the head is leaning and you're rolling back, it's the feet that are extending up. And when the weight of the legs are bringing you down, then the other part of the body that's being carried lengthens and leads in that way. And so let's look at this extraordinary Kaya dancer. Well, she's dancing on a thing called a Kaya ring. So I'm going to mute everybody, because that's a beautiful expression of both of these things. And I'll share my screen. Now. Oh, here we are. Now, let's just, that's a Kaya ring. And this is this dancer who had her professional circus debut when she was 7. I think she's amazing. Let's just look at a few stills, because you roll around in that thing. And you use its momentum. So look at this movement here. See that leg reaching backwards? So she's traveling around backwards at that stage. So the leg it's the movement of the leg that's bringing the movement. But how she uses the other 3 limbs, and in particular her head and her pelvis, is really significant. Now, so she's rolling down, the leg is coming back, but I think actually in this one the leg is coming forward. Can you see this line down here? And the direction, that's the back of her head here. She's looking down in the direction she's going, and this arm is leading. So she's lengthening out through here, and you can see this lovely line straight from the pelvis out to here. And the counterbalance between each of the limbs, and even this one, which is about to lift up, is extending out from the center of the pelvis and holding it there. And if we go further along, now I think that's rolling around, so she's going to flip her hands and get her fingers out of the way. But this is, where is she moving from here? It looks like everything has a bit of agency here. And, her head, she's frozen in movement, but, it's from the center of the pelvis, right in the center of the ring. That's where that's being driven from here. She's spinning here. So once again, even though it looks like the arm is there, it's really from the center of the pelvis. And notice the head is turning, so it's the head turning. Always composed. I can't read that one. We'll have to wait. So, you can lead. In this, you're moving. They have the momentum and falling. And then if you shift the position of one of the limbs or your head, then that influences, the direction that you travel. Let's watch her. But I'll change the music because the music is pretty awful. Yeah. Oh, bloody hell. In fact, I'm going to stop sharing for a second. I'm going to share again. Share screen. Share computer sound. Now we do it.
Aïe 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 oh, arrête-moi ce numéro.
Une fois de plus, une fois de plus.
Tu veux être mon ami, tu crois que je n'ai pas compris. T'as autant d'ennemis, tu crèves la poche aussi. Tu dis mais eh oui, tu te vois dans mon lit. Tu fais que des conneries, ton crédit est fini. Aïe 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 oh, arrête-moi ce numéro. Arrête-moi ce numéro. Si tu me kiffes pour ça, car je sais bien que tu me kiffes pour ça. Si tu me kiffes pour ça, arrête-moi ça, tu n'auras pas ça. Ah, tu kiffes ça, ah, tu kiffes ça, ah, tu kiffes ça, ah, tu kiffes ça, ah. Chicha, chicha. Il faut arrêter de déconner, de fréquenter par intérêt. Il faut cesser cette mentalité pour réussir et tu le sais. Si tu me kiffes pour ça, car je sais bien que tu me kiffes pour ça. Si tu me kiffes pour ça, arrête-moi ça, tu n'auras pas ça. Ah, tu kiffes ça, ah, tu kiffes ça, ah, tu kiffes ça, ah, tu kiffes ça, ah. Tu veux être mon ami, tu crois que j'ai pas compris. T'as autant d'ennemis, tu crèves la poche aussi. Tu dis mais eh oui, tu te vois dans mon lit. Tu fais que des conneries, ton crédit est fini. Aïe 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 oh, arrête-moi ce numéro. Arrête-moi ce numéro.
Une fois de plus, une fois de plus.
Si tu me kiffes pour ça, car je sais bien que tu me kiffes pour ça. Si tu me kiffes pour ça, arrête-moi ça, tu n'auras pas ça. Ah, tu kiffes ça, ah, tu kiffes ça, ah, tu kiffes ça, ah, tu kiffes ça. Si tu me kiffes pour ça, car je sais bien que tu me kiffes pour ça. Si tu me kiffes pour ça, arrête-moi ça, tu n'auras pas ça. Ah, tu kiffes ça, ah, tu kiffes ça, ah, tu kiffes ça, ah, tu kiffes ça, ah. Si tu me kiffes pour ça, car je sais bien que tu me kiffes pour ça. Si tu me kiffes pour ça, arrête-moi ça, tu n'auras pas ça. Ah, tu kiffes ça, ah, tu kiffes ça, ah, tu kiffes ça, ah, tu kiffes ça. Si tu me kiffes pour ça, car je sais bien que tu me kiffes pour ça. Si tu me kiffes pour ça, arrête-moi ça, tu n'auras pas ça. Ah, tu kiffes ça, ah, tu kiffes ça, ah, tu kiffes ça, ah, tu kiffes ça. Si tu me kiffes pour ça, car je sais bien que tu me kiffes pour ça. Si tu me kiffes.
Yes. Oops. Isn't that amazing? You see how she, all that, it just makes it look so light and effortless. Just how, imagine how many times she must have rolled over her fingers or toe, you know, getting caught underneath the momentum of that thing. There were videos of Kaya Ring fails, but I didn't look at them as much. But it's the lightness and ease that you get when everything's so balanced, and when you maintain the length between all the segments, and then just can, you know, vary the position of one. It changes the way everything falls, and to be able to go with momentum is such a beautiful thing. So shall we explore that? So could you lie down on your back? Great. So lie here on your back and notice how everything falls. We are spinning through space. 1,600 kilometers an hour around toward the east as we rotate, and about 100,000 kilometers an hour as we spin around the sun. And everything is being drawn into the center of the earth, about 6,000 kilometers directly below you. Just sense how everything falls into the ground. Gravity. And the rhythm of your breath. Well, could you bend your right knee? Stand your right foot on the floor. Have your left arm out to the side at shoulder height, palm up. And then lift your left foot up toward the ceiling and hold on to the back of the knee with your right hand. Wherever it's comfortable. And could you move the front of your foot, the toes and the balls of your feet round in a circle? So the front of your foot's moving in a circle in the ankle. Notice how smooth it is. Look at your foot. And maybe as you're moving the front of your foot in a circle, could you also move the front of your face? So, your nose goes in a small circle. Round and round in a circle, the front of your head and the front of your foot. And it's interesting to consider that the front of the foot is, the same distance away from the center of your pelvis as your head. And now move the fingers, the left hand in a circle as well. So you're moving the toes and balls of your feet, front of your face, and your hand. In a circle, in harmony with your breath. And sense the inside of your body, the front of your body, your face, from the cheeks and underneath your eyes and behind the nose, the mouth and the throat, and down into the torso and right through to the center of the pelvis. front of your pelvis, front of your leg. And the palm of your hand, inside of the arm and the front of the underarm. And then leave that. Let your arms down, out at shoulder height, palms up, legs long. And sense that distance between the center of your pelvis and your foot, center of your pelvis and your head, and the center of your pelvis and your left arm. Once again, lift your right knee, stand the right foot on the floor, raise your left leg and foot toward the ceiling, have your right hand behind your knee or somewhere comfortable, and now could you move the heel in a circle? So it's essentially the same movement, the front of the foot is still moving. It's a movement of the foot in the ankle, but now you're focusing on the heel. And, you may find you need to rotate your leg a little bit, to make the circle a little bit bigger so it's easier to manage. And the thing is, as you're moving your heel round in a circle, pointing it up toward the ceiling and over to the side and then down, notice what's happening through the back of your leg. And maybe this will be easier to feel if you rotate your leg. In other words, it's turning in the hip. It's, staying straight and up toward the ceiling, but it's rotating in and then out. As you're doing this, what is happening to the sitting bone? Consider from the heel to the sitting bone. Maybe your pelvis is moving a little bit in order to make this an easy circle. And if your pelvis is moving, maybe you can feel that through the rest of your body, and you can sense the back of your head rolling on the ground. Back of your head and the heel moving in a circle. And you can move the heel of the hand if it's easy. Okay, that's 3 things. And the heel of the hand, that may take a bit of relaxing to, allow that to come in. Don't worry if you can't do 3 things. Just do what you can. And move in whichever way that's easy. But the secret with this is to spread your attention through your whole body. The whole body. Round in a circle the heel. Back of the head and the heel of the hand. And that's the interesting thing, as you just forget about it and just get involved in the movement, you may find the whole of your body starts to move, the whole of your spine, and it softens. Well, leave that. Let it go. Just let your legs be long, arms out at shoulder height, palms up. Notice how that feels. Front and back of that side. Maybe move the left foot in a circle. Toes are making a big circle and the heels are making a small circle. And of course, if the heels are rolling on the ground rather than sliding, that means the rest of your body is being moved. So you may feel your head rolling in a circle too. It's a little bit different because you're only rolling one leg, but notice the front and the back. Then leave that. Then lift your left knee. Lift your left knee, stand the left foot on the floor. Have your right hand out to the side at shoulder height, palm up. Lift the right leg and place the left hand behind your knee. And now try the same thing here with the right foot. Move the ball of the right foot and the toes round in a circle. And move your head in a circle. And then the hand. And make it easy. See, can you actually reduce as much effort as you can? Sensing the front of your body. And the length from the center of your pelvis to your head, center of your pelvis to your foot, and the center of your pelvis to your hand. And then leave that, let your legs down. And each time you let your legs down, notice what else settles. What else is able to move with gravity and be drawn down toward the center of the earth? And then once again, lift your left knee, stand your foot on the floor, lift your right leg toward the ceiling, hold on to it with the left hand. And now on this side, move your heel around in a circle. Turn the heel in a circle. It's a movement of the foot in the ankle, but probably your leg is turning in and out in order to make it an easy circle. So you can feel that turning in and out in the hip socket. And you can still feel that the length from the center of the pelvis up toward the heel, and maybe you can notice how the pelvis moves. From the back of the leg, from the heel down the back of the leg, down to the sitting bone. And of course, if you soften in your rib cage, your neck, it's much easier to move the pelvis. And then you may find that spontaneously you're noticing that your head is moving in a circle, but now you can focus on the back of your head. The back of the head, the heel, it's the back of your body. And go with it. Just allow the movement of the heel and the leg. Allow your body to move. And you may notice that your shoulder starts to move a bit. And then you could spread your attention to the heel of the right hand and allow that to move in a circle as well. If it's easy, don't feel you have to do those 3 circles. That's quite a challenging thing to do. And if you can make that happen by spreading your attention, that's great. But if you can't, it doesn't matter. It's not going to influence the benefit you can gain from the lesson. Lovely. So it's the back of your body that you can feel now. Leave that now. Let your arms and legs, or your arms be out to the side, palms out, legs be long. And notice how this side feels. distance from the center of your pelvis to your feet, your hands, and your head. Now move the right foot in a circle, a big circle with the toes in front of the foot, small circle on the heel, and that's rolling on the ground in a way that enables you to feel the movement in your pelvis, your rib cage and your head. How is it on this side? And feeling at the front and back of your leg. Maybe you could move the right hand as well. We'll leave that. Now once again, could you lift your right leg, stand the right foot on the floor. And this time place your right hand behind your head. Right hand behind your head. Keep your left arm out to the side, palm up. And now lift your left foot toward the ceiling. And now could you lift your head and your left leg and foot up toward the ceiling, up and down. So that means that your left hip lifts a little bit. And you're using your arm to lift your head, your elbows toward the ceiling. It reaches up and then comes back down. And maybe stay up there. And could you move the front of your foot and the front of your head in a circle? So now with your head in the air, it's a different movement, isn't it? You can maybe feel the movement of your head on top of your neck. Maybe it's a bit easier. Maybe you could even move the left hand in a circle as well. Lovely. Leave that, come back down and let yourself rest. What's the influence of that movement? What feels different? Probably something in your rib cage and neck. Well, lift the right leg again, stand the foot on the floor, place the right hand behind your head, left arm out at shoulder height, palm up. Left leg and head toward the ceiling, up and down. And notice you're lifting your head and your pelvis. So what part of your back is pressing into the floor? When you lift up and when you come down. Sort of a diagonal. And now stay up there. And now could you move the heel and the back of your head in a circle? Heel and the back of your head in a circle. So now you can really feel the point where the skull joins onto the spine at the ears, the movement that your head does, and maybe the movement that your pelvis does, the sitting bone, how that moves with the heel. If it's easy, you can move the heel of the left hand. But, leave that now. Come back down and rest. with any of these movements, if it's too complicated, don't worry about it. Just do what you can. Do one thing or two things until it becomes easy, and then consider doing the third. But if you never do the third, it still won't matter. It's more important to sense that length from the center out and to do it easily. And try it different ways. So let's lift your right leg, stand the foot on the floor again, place the right hand behind your head, left arm out to the side. And now move your leg over to the right. Move the left leg over to the right so your left arm is out to the side. And move your front of your foot and your nose and the left hand in a circle. So it's a movement in the ankle of the foot. And the hand in the wrist. The fingers are moving around, and it's the front of your face. And make sure it's in a comfortable place. Don't stretch or strain, just make it easy. Sensing the distance from the center of the pelvis to your foot, your hand, and your head. And maybe it's as if you are shaping clouds, as if you're floating in the air, and you can generate a feeling in the center of your body, and you can move your hand and your head and your foot, and you can encourage the clouds to dance. And then leave that. Come back to the middle. Let your arms and legs be long. Once again, lift up your right foot, or right knee, stand the right foot on the floor, right hand behind your head, left hand out to side at shoulder height, left leg toward the ceiling, and then roll over to the right side. And now move the heel in a circle. Heel in a circle, and you can once again allow the leg to rotate a little bit. So, you can feel how the left side of your pelvis wants to do this circle. How the back of your head can move in a circle. Even the heel of the left hand can move in a circle. And it's allowing everything to be soft, to spread your attention. And just allow the movement to happen. Heel in a circle, like you're sliding down a hill and you're putting the brakes on. Sliding joyously down a hill, putting the brakes on. And then leave that, come back to the middle. Let your legs be long, arms out at shoulder height and palms up. So do a couple of circles with the left foot here and just notice that what you feel now, the sense of the front and the back right through your body. And then leave that. Now bend the left knee. Bend your left knee, stand the foot on the floor. Have your left hand behind your head. A right arm out to the side at shoulder height, and have your right leg up toward the ceiling. And now move your leg over to the left. Both legs over to the left. And in this position, move the front of the foot and the hand and the front of your face in a circle. And notice the distance between the center of your pelvis and your foot, center of your pelvis and your head, and the center of your pelvis and your right hand. And notice, what's happening to the pelvis? Do you feel the front of the pelvis moving along with the foot? Maybe your leg is rotating here a little bit. You could look at the right hand with your head. Is that different from looking at the right foot with your head as you do these circles? Does it give you a different feeling through your body? A different sense of the entire front of your body. How could the whole body be involved in this movement? Well, leave that. Come back, let your legs be long, arms out at shoulder height. And then bend your left knee, stand the left foot on the floor, left hand behind your head, right arm up toward the ceiling, right arm out to the side, palm up. And now move the right leg, or both legs, over to the left. And now move the heel of the right leg in a circle. How can you make this easy in this position? To move the heel in a circle, maybe you need to rotate the leg in and out. And you can sense that connection through the back of the leg, from the heel right up to the sitting bones, how the bottom of your pelvis may be moving in a circle. And if your pelvis is moving in a circle, probably means the rest of your spine is being influenced, particularly as you relax in your rib cage, neck and shoulders. Feel as your rib cage and shoulders soften, how your head can roll in a circle. The heel of the head, the back of your head, rolling on the floor with your heel. Back of the leg, the back of your head, right through the back of your body, even out to the back of the right arm, and feel the heel of the hand rolling in a circle, and the sense of this movement right through the back and the front. Right through the back of your body now. You could look at your foot, or you could look at your right hand. And then leave that. Come back. Let your arms and legs be long on the ground. And try rolling the right leg in a little circle. Move the toes around a few times so the heel rolls on the floor in such a way that your pelvis and your rib cage and your head can roll. You could move the right hand. How is it here? What can you feel in the front and the back of your body? And then leave that. And now raise your right foot, stand the right foot on the floor. Have your left hand behind your head and your right hand out to the side at shoulder height, palm up. Lift your left leg into the air and raise your head and your left leg up toward the ceiling and feel, how that moves now. In order to lift both of them, the left elbow and your left foot and leg, your pelvis and your rib cage roll, are you rolling over to the right as you reach up? And feel which parts of you are pressing into the ground as your head lifts and the rib cage rolls and the pelvis lifts and the leg lifts. Just leave your arms there, but let your left leg down for a second to rest in this position. And then once again, lift up the left leg. And now lift your head and move the right leg over to the right. So you're over on the right side. You're over on the right side and your head and your left leg are lifted. Your right arm is out to the side, palm up. And now move the front of the foot and the front of your face and your right hand in a circle as if you were conducting clouds. Using the feeling in the middle of your body to express the desire of how you're asking these clouds to dance, and you're moving your head and your foot and your hand in a way that enables that to happen. Smoothly, make it an invitation to the clouds rather than a demand. The more softly you can do this, the easier it is. Head in a circle, and notice that your elbow is moving in a circle too. It's actually not just the front of your head, it's your rib cage and shoulder that's moving in this circle too. But leave that, come back down onto your back and rest for a moment. Then lift your right leg, stand the foot on the floor, right hand out to the side, shoulder height. Place your left hand behind your head, lift your left leg toward the ceiling and your head and roll over to the right. So your head and your elbow and your left leg are up toward the ceiling, and now can you move your heel in a circle. Heel, back of your head, and the heel of your hand, in whichever order is easy for you. And move the heel in a circle, the back of the head, allowing the pelvis to move. You know, you're dancing with clouds. Inspiring them by the grace of your feeling, the grace of your desire. And then leave that, come back onto your back and rest. See, that's different, isn't it? Notice the front and back of your rib cage, neck and head. On this left side. Now lift your left knee. Stand the left foot on the floor. Have your left arm out to the side at shoulder height, palm up. Have your right hand behind your head. Lift your right leg up toward the ceiling and lift the head and the leg up and down. Notice how it is on this side. To lift your head and your pelvis at the same time. Notice which parts are pressing into the floor in order to lift the pelvis and the head at the same time. So the elbow and your leg are reaching up toward the ceiling. And stay up there. Move your front of your foot and your face around in a circle. And the left hand. And see if you can find a way of softening, spreading your attention. And then come back down, but stay with your hands in this position, your knees bent. And once again, lift the right leg and your head and right elbow into the air, and now move the heel in a circle. Heel of the foot, the back of your head, and the heel of the hand, if it's easy. Otherwise, just do whichever of those is easy. And it's allowing, your pelvis to move, the whole body to move here. That, means you can then spread your attention and do this easily. And then leave that, come back down and rest. We'll bend the left knee again, stand the foot on the floor, left arm out to the side, shoulder height. Right hand behind your head, right leg toward the ceiling, and then roll over onto the left side. So your right leg and your head and elbow are in the air. And in this position, lying on the side with your head and your pelvis raised. Move the front of your foot, front of your head in a circle. Front of your hand. And consider the distance between the center of your pelvis, your foot, center of your pelvis and your head, and the center of your pelvis and your hand. And from the center of your pelvis, conduct these clouds. Dance with these clouds. Inspire them to move and form shapes. Lovely. Leave that. Come back and rest. The space inside you lift your left knee, stand the left foot on the floor, left arm out to the side, right hand behind your head, and right foot and head and elbow toward the ceiling. Roll over to the left again, and now move the heel in a circle. So your right leg and your head are toward the ceiling, but you're on the left side, and you're moving the heel of the hand, heel of the foot, and the back of your head in a circle, allowing everything to move. So you can feel that through the whole back of your body. Your whole body moves so that you could conjure movement in the clouds. So nice. And then leave that, come back, rest, arms and legs long. So move your right leg in a circle now, the foot, right foot in a circle, toes in a bigger circle, the heel rolling on the ground, and feeling how your pelvis and your rib cage, your head, the rest of your body is influenced now. Maybe you can feel how this movement plays out on the left side too. Lying there passively. Or maybe you could do a circle with the left foot, after the circle with the right foot. So one goes away, one goes up. Alternate foot circles, so that you feel your pelvis almost like it's doing a figure of 8. Or sense, what is your pelvis doing? What is the movement when one leg moves and then the other? You can do the opposite hand if it's easy, but it's sensing the front and back. As if you could dance with clouds. Unfold yourself with the grace and beauty of air. And leave that. Now lift both knees, stand both feet on the floor. And interlace your fingers and place them behind your head, so both hands behind your head. Could you raise your head and your pelvis? Up and down. Feel the flexibility of your spine. You know, the rolling of the pelvis. As your pelvis rolls up, your head lifts up, which means your rib cage is rolling down. Well, notice which parts of your back press into the floor when you come up and when you come down. And sense it from the front and the back of your body. Front and back of the pelvis and legs. Front and back of your head, neck, shoulders and chest. And stay up there this time. Stay up there in this same shape. And now keep the shape in your head, neck and torso, and press down on the feet a bit more to raise the pelvis, which would mean that your head comes down toward the floor. And then let your pelvis come back down, and as your pelvis comes down, your head comes up. And roll yourself along your spine and rib cage here, feeling the way the pressure smoothly travels across the floor. And now maybe roll yourself round in a circle around the outside of the back, and then over to one side and down toward the pelvis, and then across and then up and over the rib cage and down. Just an easy distance. Lovely. And leave that. And let your arms and legs be long. And now lift your knees, stand your feet on the ground, interlace your fingers, place them behind your head. Lift your head and pelvis, but this time, could you lift your right foot and your right hand toward the ceiling and back down and come into this position with your head and your pelvis raised, and raise the foot and the hand toward the ceiling and then come back to this position a few times. You know, notice how you can maintain the stability of the torso here. And then leave that. Keep your legs and your hands here. You see your knees are bent, your feet standing on the floor, but you're down resting. Notice how gravity once again helps you. And then press down on the feet and raise your head and your pelvis up into the air. And now raise the right foot and hand toward the ceiling. And now move the front of the foot and the hand and the front of your face in a circle. And sense the length between center of the pelvis and the foot, center of the pelvis and your head, center of the pelvis and your hand. And then move the heel, the back of the head and the heel of the hand in a circle. And notice how that involves your pelvis differently. And then leave that, come back down and rest. Notice the difference to each side. Interlace your fingers, place them behind your head, bring your knees up, stand your feet on the floor, raise your head and your pelvis up and down. And notice, is there a difference to each side? Having done that with the right leg and arm. Well, stay up there now and raise the left hand and foot toward the ceiling, up and down a few times. Reaching, you know how you can reach with the hip and the shoulder on this side and then come back into this supporting position. And then come back down and rest. Now bend the knees again, stand the feet on the floor, interlace your fingers, place them behind your head. Raise your head and your pelvis. And now lift the left hand and foot into the air and move the front of the foot, the hand, and the front of your face in a circle. Whole front of your body. From the center out. And now do the heel. Heel of the hand and the back of the head. Heel of the leg. And feel how the pelvis can move. The left hip, the sitting bone. Lovely. Leave that. Come back down. Now, interlace the fingers behind the head, bring the feet up, bend the knees, raise the head and the pelvis off the ground, lift the right leg and the right hand toward the ceiling, hold on to the right big toe, and move the right big toe up and down, in the direction of the head, in the direction of the floor. But you're rolling a little bit. You're not trying to roll up to sit. You're just moving and feeling the roundness of your back. And in fact, roll onto the left side and do that. Move the right leg and arm up and down. Feel what's happening in the left side as you do that. And then come back onto your back with the pelvis and your head raised, moving the leg up and down, and reach behind you with the leg. Behind your head, and your head goes down. And then leave that, come back down, rest. And then interlace your fingers, place them behind your head, raise your knees, stand your feet on the floor. Raise your head and your pelvis, lift the left arm and leg and hold on to the left big toe with the left hand and rock yourself a little bit here. Feel the left leg reaching behind you. And as you roll, pelvis goes down, then the head goes down. And then roll onto the right side. Move the left leg and arm up and down. Feel the influence on the right. Your head is going up and down too. And then come back onto your back, pelvis and head in the air, rolling, moving the left leg and arm up and down, rolling on your back. And then rest. Leave that. Notice how that feels. Now, lift your feet above your chest. Hold on to the big toe of the right hand with the right, hold on to the right big toe with the right hand and the left big toe with the left hand above your chest. Your legs can be bent. And move your legs up and down. Move in the direction of the wall behind your head and then down toward the floor. And they can bend there. But when they come down toward the floor, you could lift your head. When they come up in the direction of your head goes down. So you could sort of use the momentum of your legs to roll yourself to sit here. Now, this is where you need to be gentle. If this is bumpy, don't do it. You need to make your back round. You can feel the weight. When you move your legs down toward your pelvis is heavier, so gravity influences it, and you move in that direction. When you straighten your legs and move them up in the direction of your head becomes heavier, and you roll in that direction. And the thing is, as your legs come down, and in order to roll up to sit, you bend them near your pelvis. Bend them and use the momentum of the legs. But as your legs and your pelvis become heavier, well, that's when your head rolls up. You lengthen away from the center of the pelvis, your head comes up. And when you roll back a bit, and the weight of head and chest becomes more, then your legs lengthen and they reach behind you to the extent that you could probably come up, and only if this is easy, but when you get that sense that you're rolling up onto your shoulders, you could let go of your feet and place your hands either on your pelvis or behind your ribs. So your legs are in the air in a shoulder stand or a shoulder sit. And in this position, move the toes around in a circle. The toes and the front of your face. Feeling the length from the center of your pelvis up to your feet and the center of your pelvis to your head. And the length of your neck. And move your heels around in a circle. Heels around in a circle. And think of the back of your head rolling on the floor. And then let your legs bend, release your hands, and roll again. Go back into rolling, up and down. The legs lengthen up as you fall back, and the legs bend in as you roll up. The legs come forward, they come down towards your pelvis, but your head keeps coming up. It lengthens through the whole rounding process. Everything lengthens. And then come up into shoulder stand again. Feel gravity. Maybe move your legs out to the side. And in this position, move your feet around in a circle, sensing the distance between the center of your pelvis and your feet, center of your pelvis and your head. And then the heels in a circle, back of your head. And then bring your legs up. Let them come down, bend, release your hands, slowly roll yourself down and rest. Notice your contact with the floor now. Center of your pelvis to your feet. Center of your pelvis to your head. Center of your pelvis to your hands. How you feel gravity now. Move your feet in a circle once or twice, just to feel how that's different. Sense of the front and back of your body. And then leave that. And then how is this going to influence the way it feels to stand? Well, roll yourself up to sit in whichever way is easy, and then come up to stand. Notice how it is on your feet. Distance from the center of the pelvis to the inside of the pelvis down to the front and back of the feet, front and back of the hands, front and back of your head. And then try walking and just notice how it is when you move from the center. And everything can be long and easy.